What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Rams Brothers. I'm your host, Dean, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother and the other great host of this show, Nick. And the Rams right now are currently in Baltimore practicing at Camden Yards. They're going to be leaving to go travel internationally to London to take on the Jaguars, who are the home team in this game. Rams are 3-point favorites. There's a lot of fun detail that we're going to get into in this preview. But before we do any of that, first and most importantly, how are you, my good brother?
I'm good. I'm stoked that we're finally in the 6:30 a.m. window. I wake up every week and watch those games, and they are usually terrible. I mean, last week, Jets-Broncos was borderline unwatchable. And now it's Rams-Jags, which should be a really great game for these London viewers.
Yeah, that Jets-Broncos game was 13-11, right? So I think the number to keep your eye on is the over-under in this one. It's at 44.5. So Vegas expects both of these teams to score more than what we saw this past weekend with Denver and the Jets. If you want the Rams on the money line, it's minus 155. They're -3 in terms of the spread. 66% of the money has been placed on the Rams. 34% of the money has been placed on the Jags. Nick, your thoughts, your immediate takeaways, as we always like to start these previews with our betting expert.
I don't think the Rams should be favored, honestly. I think if anything, this should be a pick 'em. I'm shocked that they're -3, particularly with Puka not practicing this week. Don't know if he's going to play yet or not, but still, I feel like it may, like when he's confirmed out, it may move to Rams -2. I think Puka's worth an entire point at this point. London is their second home for the Jaguars. So this is like a true home game. So I feel like it should be at least a pick 'em for me.
It's interesting. Yeah. And you brought up the Puka Nacua injury. So this is, I think as of yesterday. So this was Wednesday. Today we're Thursday. So we'll get the injury report, the updated injury report later today. Puka most likely is going to be held out of this game. I think the reality is they have a bye week next week. And then you got to look at guys like Rob Havenstein. He did not practice. I actually really like what we're getting from Warren McClendon right now. All the numbers kind of check out to him potentially being able to take over at the right tackle position, which is good. Get him as many reps as you can. Although this is a pretty tricky defensive front, especially at edge. So something to keep an eye on. Josiah Stewart has an illness. He did not practice. So he should be good to go. Blake Corum did not practice. I don't expect him to be ready to go. But Tutu, Omar Spates, and also Colby Parkinson should all be good to go. And we'll talk about Tutu a little bit more in this episode. But it is a huge opportunity for both Tutu Atwell and then Devontae Adams, really. And, Jordan Whittington, who struggled last week, to all get on the same page with Matthew Stafford as Puka Nacua is out. I think it's just good for the continuity of this roster in totality. And then there's a couple names. Devin Lloyd is another one to keep your eye on. He's got a calf injury. He was a do not practice for the Jags. If you remember back a couple of weeks, he took an interception return against Patrick Mahomes back 99 yards. And the first 4 weeks of the season, people were talking about him for Defensive Player of the Year. So I expect him to go, but it's definitely something to keep your eyes on. As we know, injuries have impacted the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I just, we're coming in banged up with this game the first time. I think there is potential, though, you kind of alluded to it, for the Whittingham game, as they like to call them.
Or the Worthington game. Whatever.
Yeah, Worthington, whatever. Just because I feel like if Puka is out, which I think he's going to be out, I mean, you have the bye after this. So to me, it's just like, I think you got to take the healthy scratch on Puka and let him rest, and then, worry about it when they play the Saints the following week. But if that's the case, they're probably going to double up Devontae. And I think that leaves Whittington like a real opportunity to make this like his game because, he's great. And I think the Rams organization is really excited about him and like what his potential could be. And it feels like there is something there.
Here's what I got, right? And this was kind of my takeaway. And it definitely goes along the same lines of what you were just kind of talking about. I'm looking at the defensive side of the ball for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm looking at their nickel cornerback, Jordan Lewis. What's going to be really interesting is their rotation of receivers in the slot, because Jordan Lewis right now, I would say, is probably the best slot corner in football. So if you want to get Devontae quick targets out of the slot, you want to get Whittington quick targets out of the slot. To me, if he's going to be locked down inside with some of their other talented linebackers, like we mentioned, Devin Lloyd, there's Gardeck. They got some talent in terms of their secondary and some of their second-level guys. Whoever can make a splash outside where they have some vacancies, to me, is going to be really impactful. Devontae has that versatility, but, Tutu Atwell's healthy. I'm going to be really intrigued by, him potentially making an impact in this game with Puka Nacua off the field. It's time, the $10 million player. If not, maybe look to trade him, right? There's some trade rumors with the Giants, the Steelers, and some other teams who want receivers. Nick, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this too, because the Jags seem to be pretty confident. They're like a different kind of team this year with Liam Coen at the helm. They're fun. I think it's pretty easy for like a pretty casual fan to kind of glom on to what the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing right now. It's fun. They're right now teasing the Rams with promotional images featuring Hunter Long. This is fun. You gotta be a little pissed off by that. So I just kind of want your thoughts on the whole Liam Coen relationship, right? Because like we know that Liam Coen used to draw pass plays for Sean McVay. They have a really deep relationship. It's pretty interesting. One guy talks more than the other. I would imagine that's Sean McVay. We have that dynamic, right? Let's hear your thoughts.
I mean, I'm just really excited that you used the word glom. Everybody's glomming onto the Jaguars. I think Liam Coen, it's so weird because I came from a standpoint of this guy's not going to do anything in Tampa. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like I was so frustrated in how that season went when we 2023 post Super Bowl. And I know Stafford went down and he was working with backups. And until they brought in Baker, like none of his passing concepts or anything that he was trying to lay down was working with the backups. So it was really frustrating to watch. So I was like, who is this guy? And then he goes to Tampa with Baker and he looked, had Baker looking like an MVP. And now, he leaves and Baker is still looking like an MVP. But he's really resurrected Trevor, who, has not really looked that great, had a really bad first coach with Urban Meyer, and now is looking like somebody that can like lead a team to like a playoff victory and like, kind of like I know he did that with Doug Peterson at the helm, but that was really fluky and really crazy.
Yeah. I mean, between Urban Meyer, Doug Peterson, there's a lot of dysfunction with that organization, and we know the history of it. Yeah.
Anybody that beats the Chiefs in primetime, though, I think a lot of people do want to glom, particularly when they were wearing those throwback 90s uniforms, which is, I think, the best the Jags have ever looked. So it was a really good, and it was in Duval, and it was Trevor Lawrence's birthday, and then there was that weird fall down touchdown. So people right now, I think, are very hot on what the Jags are doing. They seem to have an identity with the defense, and I just think they're not there yet. I don't think they're a serious contender in like the AFC picture. I think they'll probably make the playoffs as like a wild card, but that looks like the Colts division. I can't wait to see those teams play. I think that'll be fantastic. But to me, it just feels like they are close to finding out who they are and where they're going to be. And if they lose in London, I think that would be more of like same old Jags for most people. But if they beat us in London, I think they're going to start feeling like, okay, that was a real test and we did it and we beat a really good NFC team. And it doesn't matter that we just lost to Seattle in Seattle. Like we can like go on and like, win this division and be like a legitimate contender. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I just don't think they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's what you're dealing with so far this season for the Jags. So started off 2-1. So they beat the Panthers, they lost to the Bengals, and then they beat the Jags. And then they went on, they lost to the Niners, or they beat the Niners rather. And then they beat the Chiefs, and then they lost to Seattle this past week. So you made a couple of really good points about Liam Coen and also just the Baker Mayfield dynamic. Liam Coen always kind of emphasizes the fact that everybody's kind of got basic routes in their arsenal. They got, they got the flats, they got the curls, they got the slants, they got the deep posts. Like all those basic route concepts are already in their bag. Liam Coen was kind of behind the evolution of the Rams' offense and how they can further develop those long developing pass plays. And you saw with Liam Coen in 23, I believe he was calling plays down the stretch. And which is one of the reasons why he ended up getting that head coaching job in Tampa, or the offense coordinator job, which then led him to the head coaching job where he's at right now in Jacksonville. So I think it's really interesting what's going on. I think just the head-to-head comparisons of like who's under the Sean McVay tree and how they've kind of functioned head-to-head is really interesting. You got Kyle Shanahan, all-time McVay's 7-11 versus Kyle Shanahan. It's not technically Sean McVay's coaching tree, but, related. We know how deep that relationship goes. Versus Matt LaFleur.
No.
5.
I hate that.
It's pretty tough. Versus Zach Taylor. He's 1-1. We know that number one, that one win was a pretty big one. Kevin O'Connell, 2-0 versus Kevin O'Connell. Both of them came last year. And then we got all-time versus Liam Coen. We just don't know that yet. And I think this Jags team is really interesting just in terms of how they're structured, right? Because there's like 4 or 5 ridiculous statistics that, like, after 6-7 weeks of an NFL regular season, you wouldn't be expecting the Jacksonville Jaguars to be at the top of some of these statistics. So here's what we got, right? So 30th right now in pass defense allowed. And this is really more so catered to the defense. But a lot of these are WTF type stats. 30th in pass defense and 10 touchdowns allowed. Massive opportunity for Matthew Stafford, who leads the league in passing right now. 8th in run defense. So they're allowing 91.5 yards per game, right around the Rams' average. They're 8th in defense and red zone touchdown rate. So 52.9. Rams are right around 50%. Most interceptions in the NFL. They have 10 total, one of which was housed. We talked about Devin Lloyd and the interception that he brought back on Mahomes. They're currently leading the league in takeaways with 14, and they're currently leading the league in pass deflections with 41. So this secondary very much means business. They're trying to generate as many turnovers as humanly possible. Yeah. We showed this roster. We're familiar with guys like Eric Armstead from San Francisco, Josh Hines-Allen. We talked about Devin Lloyd a ton, Jordan Lewis, Greg Newsome. Nick, there's a lot of talent here.
There is a lot of talent. I feel like their defense actually counterbalances Trevor Lawrence because he still makes a bonehead interception pretty much every game, it feels like. Like, even after that amazing 99-yard pick six that they had, Trevor Lawrence then gets the ball back in his own territory and throws a really bad pick to keep the Chiefs alive. I mean, there may have been some pass interference that wasn't called on that play, but still, like, that's a place you just can't put the ball in a situation like that. So I almost feel like it nets out to 0 in terms of, like, how great their defense is. It kind of, like, allows Trevor to make the bonehead mistake that he makes pretty much once a week. So and our defense, they like to get picks too. So it does feel like there's a world here where this will be like a turnover heavy game, kind of similar to last week. But,
these guys,
if we win the turnover battle.
Yeah, these guys' body clocks are going to be all messed up, right? I mean, you're a West Coast guy. You're playing at 6:30 in the morning. Stafford was talking about how there's some science behind their travel schedule, but I could imagine, Nick, you're 31, I'm 32. If I'm traveling to the West Coast and I have to play a football game at 6:30 in the morning, you kind of want to be up 4 or 5 hours prior to get your body kind of acclimated to the situation. And that makes for a really long day. Stafford said they're getting right back on the plane after the game to go home.
So here's my personal experience. A couple weeks ago, I was just in New Jersey, and I was working out with Dean a lot, and like every morning, and it was my eternal clock. I think some of the workouts started around like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. because over there he works out in the morning. So I was like, I'm trying to work out with Dean, and I was fine. Maybe it was because I was working out with you, so like the endorphins and dopamine were like higher.
I thought you were going to make an excuse. I thought there was an excuse coming as to why you didn't lift as much weight.
No, I was pretty much on par with how much you were putting up. I mean,
you were fine. No, there was no. Well, that's where I thought you were getting was like, the travel, the internal body clock. Is that an excuse that I can make? No, it's really not. Like these guys.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They're going to be ready. Yeah. And I think coming off of last week too, like they should be ready to go in this game. It should be a lot of fun. It's get it done early, fly back home. I don't know how the time difference works when you're going from London to Los Angeles, but I would imagine you're probably saving some time on your way back.
Yeah. I think you're gaining some time. To me, it's just they have looked stale every first quarter, pretty much all season. Yeah. So, like, I do worry that is something that's going to happen in this game, particularly because of the time difference. But I really don't think that there should be that should be an excuse or like something that they should worry about. They have the best people working science on like the clocks and whatnot. And it's like, if you should have traveled, like they could have traveled after the Baltimore game to get there. That could have been something that like right after that. But no, they stayed in Baltimore to kind of break it up a little bit, I guess. But to me, it's like whatever that, like, there is plenty of time for them to figure this out. So I am not going to be happy if they start this game off slow on the offense, because the defense never starts off slow.
No, and yeah, and I'm gonna get to yeah, I'm gonna get to this in just 1 second. Just wanted to, because you talked about how they're practicing right now in Baltimore. Just wanted to show the Stafford picture where he's got cleats on the tarp, disrespecting the tradition. Although those are rubber cleats, baseball players wear metal spikes. That's what I think people are missing here. Those are like turf shoes. They're like turf cleats. I don't think there's any harm that's going to be done to the tarp. And I think they discussed that beforehand. So don't worry about that.
Can you put that up for me again real fast?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I read that as please no on cleats tarp. And I was like, what is he talking about?
Oh, that's funny. I'm sure other people did that too, to be honest with you. But like, I think this is a good transition over to the Rams' defense too, because like we talked about what the Jacksonville Jaguars are and what you feel like the Rams could be in terms of starting fast, what the defense looks like. The defense always starting fast. So we talked about Matthew Stafford in terms of pass yards per game. He's at 269.2. That's good for third, currently leading the league in passing yards. So 22nd in rushing yards per game, 105.8. Talked about how that could potentially clash with the Jags, who are about averaging, within the same, 10, 15 yards. 24th in red zone touchdown percentage. They're at 50th. 4th in total sacks. They have 19, led by Byron Young. 7th in total points allowed, 110. And 6 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries. Both of those are league leading. You could thank the landman for that, who has led the charge on the majority of those, Quentin Lake, a couple of others. But I think this is an opportunity for this team to kind of start to get things together. It could be a little bit of a coming out party. I don't know. They're going to take their shots. They're allowing a ton of passing yards per game. Like you mentioned, there's probably going to be some turnovers. But if you can get your rushing attack on board, you can kind of start to win at the line of scrimmage. This unit is really kind of starting to come together. I think they're going to be just fine. Did you know they were leading the league in most big plays through 6 weeks of the season?
That's crazy. I did not know that at all. The Bears are behind them?
Big plays per game. We're at 7.8. for the Rams. And a big play is categorized as a rush, 10-plus yards, or a reception, 20-plus yards.
Wow.
So they have 47 total big plays at 7.8 per game.
Wow. I would have never guessed that from watching.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, like, that's what's going on with this team. It's like they're still 4-2. They are doing things well. They're just making such glaring mistakes, which we haven't affiliated with their personality over the last couple of years. Byron Young, he's second in the league in sacks. He's got 7.5. Yeah. This team, this identity, I think once they start to kind of piece things together and execute better, they're going to be totally fine. This is one thing, though, that this is part of their identity right now. And you look at just NFL kicker rankings, the totality through 6 weeks, Joshua Carty is 32nd overall. It's just bad. But I think, Nick, this stat was pretty glaring and it shocked the hell out of me when I read it. It's from Blaine Grisack. Lost in all the Josh Carty discussion is that before the 2 blocked field goals against the Eagles, the Rams kicker had made 26 straight field goals.
Doesn't matter. It's a what have you done for me lately league. I don't care how we did last season. It's this season that he's messing up. I mean, the Falcons cut Younghoe Koo, who was once like a glorified king in Atlanta because of all the clutch kicks that he made. And now he's not even on the team.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're being like Sean McVay was quoted in saying, I thought the blocking was great. The kicking, though, was not where it should be, but we're going to stick with Carty and trust him. Okay. But during the game, you didn't trust him to make a chip shot on 4th and 3.
Did you hear the Pat McAfee theory, which I know that you're going to view, Pat McAfee, oh God. But McVay actually agreed with it. And it's the theory that a lot of these kickers now are kicking these fat balls. And when they do it for the kickoff, it's great because you can get this knuckleball type kickoff, which makes it more difficult to return it. And the Rams have been pretty good in return yards allowed on the kick returns. But in terms of the kicking game, the fat balls, you're going to go McAfee on me, tend to fade left, which is kind of some of the misses that Carty has been dealing with. So I think there's a theory. The arms look pretty good, by the way.
Thanks.
There's a theory. You look like McAfee. That's a theory. I think the other theory is that the kid is just mental. And there's other aspects of a special teams unit in terms of trying to make a field goal that are outside of the kicker's control. So
ready?
Here's the other thing with kickers. He also could suck.
Are you going to let me do my bit?
No, we're doing the bit now where I'm AJ Hawk. I take over the podcast and you stand there and flex.
AJ Hawk never talks.
Go
I
ahead.
don't know, bro. Kickers, man, I don't know. But, bro, here's what I think. Carter's pretty good, bro. Carter's pretty good. That's McVay. I can't stand that show.
Yeah, impression was good. It was good. It's just one of those things where it's like you got to stay on top of a kicker, stay on top of who's a free agent. Like you mentioned, there's guys on TikTok who are kicking bombs. I just want somebody who's cold and doesn't have a pulse. And I think Joshua Carty is very, very smart. He's a Stanford grad. I think he's got very much of a pulse. I think he overthinks things, and I think there's a history of him talking about how extra points can be a little bit more of a struggle because everybody has that expectation that you're going to make it. It's like a short chip when you're on the fringe. That's what he compared it to. So
that's terrible. It should be a gimme putt.
That's what I'm saying. That's not what I want my kicker to say.
The fringe is an extra point. No, it's not. That should be like a 44-yarder.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't like him. I also hate that he wears 16. It's my favorite number. It looks bad on him. Just get him off my team.
So what's your take on this game? I personally, I'm trying not to be overly biased. I mean, it's a Jags home game, but I have confidence that they're going to take care of business even without Puka.
I do too. I think the Rams are better. I think this is a test for them. If they show up early, and because I think the Jags are going to score points. I just don't think we're going to hold them to 12 like Seattle did. I think they're going to score. So if we can just kind of throw punches with them and match them on haymakers and, get some big chunk plays and get to the red zone and actually score. Because if you're not scoring in the red zone, then I'm like really worried. But
sure,
if we score early, then I'm feeling pretty confident. And then, if they go up 7-0, 10-0, then I'm going to be like, well, we may have just lost this game because it's taking us too long to throw another haymaker.
They usually play up to their competition. I mean, that's what I've seen over the last. That's kind of their personalities. Like whatever the competition is, they play to that level and usually can find ways at the end of the game to execute and win it. It's just there's been a couple of lopsided games. There's been a couple of games where in the last seconds things haven't gone their way, as we've seen Niners, Eagles, right? So I have confidence that they're going to take care of business. I like McVay going up against a guy that used to have to kind of knock on his door to go into his office. And then by the time he went into his office, McVay read through all the pass plays. It was McVay doing the teaching on the whiteboard. McVay has been in control of the relationship with Liam Coen since the relationship has begun. McVay was the one who hired him out of college. So it's definitely, you got to kind of keep those things in your mind as you're like watching a key 3rd and 3 down the stretch where the Rams absolutely need a play and McVay reaches deep in his bag to find one that Liam Coen hasn't created yet.
I also just think in general, McVay is really good against the AFC, and this is the last AFC matchup on the season. So I think 4-0 against the AFC South would be a good look.
I was going to say, how about you play all 4 AFC South teams in 7 weeks and you have a chance to go 4-0 against them?
Weird. Absolutely weird.
So weird. Yeah, I have confidence in this one. I also think that it's probably time for everybody's favorite part of the week.
Oh, 5-0. Sorry. 5-0 against the AFC. But yes, it's time for Nick's picks.
Yes. Oh, you're fine. You ready?
I'm ready. Nick's picks, week 7. Is it week 7 or is it week 6?
7.
6, 7.
No, come on.
I'm sorry. I'm just an unk trying to keep up. They did a South Park episode on it last night. We're doing so well here in Nick's picks that we may just have to spin off and become our own show like Frasier. Call me the best part of Cheers. No, but check this out. We won last week, and now our yearly total is 20 wins, 10 losses, and Dean's locks are 6 wins and 1 loss. I really hope you guys are playing along at home because this has been one of the best seasons we've had so far. I like what we have this week. We're recording on a Thursday morning, so we get to dabble with the Thursday game, which is always a fun experience here on Nick's Picks. And Dean, got to keep those locks hot. 6-1. What do you got for us?
I hinted at this a little bit earlier in the episode. I like Tutu Atwell in this game. I like the explosives to go to Tutu Atwell. I'm going to say like 4 or 5 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. So Tutu Atwell, anytime touchdown scorer. Remember, people, Dean's locks are 6-0 or 6-1 on the season. Take it. Make some money.
I think I'm going to take that, and I think you're trying to think smarter than the room here, because I think the assumption is that Puka is out, which means Devontae will pick up a lot. So then you're like, all right, well, who's next? On the down the slot, and I guess it's Tutu or Whittington. So you leaned with Tutu, and I respect that.
I got a question for you, though. This is from the producer before we jump into Knicks picks. So the producer has a brand new Knicks picks graphic. Okay, but we're used to going pick by pick. And the producer said specifically, I do not want to aggravate Nick. So how do you want to do this? Should I tell the producer?
Graphic at the end.
At the end?
At the end, yeah.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, but let's do the theme song first before we get started.
All right, what do we got? Let's do it.
Nick's got picks, yeah. Hold up. Nick has picks, hold up. Yeah, Nick has picks, hold up. Hold up. Yeah, Nick has picks. Dean has locks.
I do.
Nick's got picks, yeah. That's it.
That's awesome. That's funny. 20-10 on the season?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, you're doing something right.
That's that's a lot of money. That's like if you were to do $1,000 or $100 on all these picks, I think you net $1,000 right now. That's
man. Good. I mean, you're doing well. What do you got for us this week? You got some money makers or what?
So we got Steelers at Bengals. Like I said, we're going to dabble on the Thursday night. Line is set at Steelers minus 4.5. It was 5.5, but it moved, which is nice because I was leaning Steelers anyway. Tomlin is 2-9 away on Thursday nights, which is not very good. Too many upsets in a row. I just feel like that is what's been going on with these primetime games. We have been seeing upset after upset after upset, and I just feel like, the table is going to churn back around to the natural order of things. I think Rodgers is also playing well, and I'm shocked because I really didn't think that was going to be the case this season. But if you look at how their schedule goes after this game, I think the bottom is going to fall out. I think they're going to win in this game. I think they're going to win handsomely in this game. The Bengals D is so trash. I don't think Rodgers is going to have a problem picking them apart at all. But I just think after this game, I think everybody's going to fall in love with the Steelers after this. They're going to be 6-1? And
I think they have 2 losses.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, they're going to have this amazing record. It feels like they're going to run away with it. And then it's like Colts, Bills, us. Like it gets like really difficult for not us, Lions. It gets really difficult for them. So I think they're going to, after this game, after showing everybody on primetime that they have arrived, they are going to fall. But we're going to take them right now as they arrive. I'm going to take Steelers minus 5.5. You can get it now at minus 4.5, so take that. But, yeah, I mean, no matter what, I'm going to run with the Steelers. 28-19 Steelers. I
like that. I need Rodgers to go nuts tonight for fantasy purposes, so it's a terrible situation. Don't want to explain that.
My other league, too.
What do you got next?
We both have Josh Allen. so, yeah, Rodgers is kind of the only one that we have. All right. Colts at Chargers. Line is set at Colts plus 1.5. The Colts are used to SoFi. They played in SoFi already this season. And I think people need to stop disrespecting Daniel Dimes or Indiana Jones or whatever, or like baby Eli Manning, whatever you want to call him. He has looked amazing this season. I think Jonathan Taylor is running back 1. I don't think they're going to make the same mistakes they made against us in SoFi. Nobody's going to drop the ball at the goal line. They're not going to switch over. They know the stadium well. They're very comfortable here. They played a great game against us, and I think they're going to play a great game against the Chargers. Their D, however, I think the Colts D is definitely suspect. They're allowing people to kind of go up and down on them whenever they want. The Chargers D, though, is pretty stout. But I don't think you can stop the Colts. I really only think you can contain them. Nobody has been able to fully put a clamp on them, not even us. And our D is really good. So I'm taking over 48 in this game, 48.5 as well. And I'm also going to take Colts plus 1.5. I just think they're the better team in this scenario. I don't think SoFi is going to be swarming with Chargers fans for this game. I think the Colts fans are actually going to show up. I think they probably circled this one because it's AFC versus AFC, and this could have playoff implications. So give me Colts plus 1.5, over 48.5, 32-29, Colts on top.
I love it. I think that's a good one. What do you got next?
I got Panthers at Jets. Lions set at Jets plus 1.5. This is an opposite play. I know. But listen, we love the ugly games on Nick's Picks. This is an opposite play. I think everybody is going to see this, and they're going to say, oh, Panthers 3-3 versus the 0-6 Jets. I'm going to take the Panthers. And I like Carolina. I just don't think they can legitimately find a way to win 3 games in a row. I just don't think that's possible. I don't like what the Jets are anywhere. I think the quarterback play is terrible. I think the clock management last week from the coaching is bad. The defense can be strong, but it's like a Jekyll and Hyde team. It's not, but it is Halloween. The Jets are not something I want to subscribe to. All the money I think is going to be on the Panthers. Sometimes you just got to ride with the books. That's what this play is. I'm going to take Jets plus 1.5, 21-20. Maybe Carolina pulls it out. Maybe they don't. But we're fine with a 21-20.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Jets money line is the bet. Maybe makes more money. But you like plus 1.5. I'm not touching your bets. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, but just like think of the universe where Carolina wins by 2.
Yeah, I know. You're right. And then
you're like
everything. Yeah.
Or sorry, wins by 1, and you're like, what the hell did I do?
I get it. What do you got next?
Well, that's it. Those are the picks. So let's run it back with extra thick straps. If you want to show the graphic right now would be a good time, producer.
Okay.
So we got Steelers minus 5.5, Colts plus 1.5, over 40. There it is. Look at that graphic. Look at that guy on the left. Look at that hair. Colts over 48.5 and Chargers Colts. Jets plus 1.5. And then my quick pick. Give me Texans plus 3 over Seattle. This is a heart/hate play. I want to see Seattle knock down a peg in primetime, and I think the Texans D has been there all season, and the offense has finally arrived. So give me Texans plus 3.
I love it just for the sake of we're Rams fans, and I want to see the Texans cover the spread and win the game outright. But 10 p.m. on Monday night, are you kidding me, man? Can I just this Eastern time zone stuff stinks.
That's super. Well, yeah, but there's another game. You have another Monday night game to watch.
That's true. That's true.
Watch that one.
That's true. Well, as always, hope you guys enjoyed Nick's picks. I thought it was Nick. You're on fire. Dean, I am
also on fire. Yeah.
Let's stay on fire. Hopefully the Rams are 5-2 going into the bye week, and then they get to host the Saints, or they go to New Orleans. I think they go to New Orleans.
Bye, and then they go to New Orleans. Yeah.
They go, but do they? I don't know. I'll look. Regardless.
No, I have it right
Rams. Here. Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. I think.
Oh wait, no, it's home. It's home.
I thought so. Yeah,
it's home, and then it's at Levi. Yeah.
That's gonna be tough. We appreciate you guys as always. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you've been enjoying all of our content. We love you guys. Go Rams. I think we're going to get a win this weekend. Comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We love you. Talk to you soon.
Go Rams, guys. Horns up.